In the heart of Atlanta, where the skyline gleamed with towers of glass and steel, there lived a man named Jonathan Steele. He was a millionaire. Not the quiet, humble kind of millionaire, but the kind whose name was whispered with awe in boardrooms and at high society dinners. Jonathan had built his fortune from the ground up. As a young man, he had washed cars in a dusty lot for a few dollars a day, but he dreamed of more. Through great ambition and sacrifice, he turned that humble job into an empire of car dealerships that stretched across the country. His face had been on magazine covers. His smile had sold cars to celebrities, athletes, and CEOs. His voice commanded boardrooms. His signature closed million-dollar deals. And yet, Jonathan was alone. His mansion, with its marble floors and glittering chandeliers, echoed with silence. His garage, filled with polished cars worth millions, felt empty. The only thing that brought Jonathan true joy was his 1969 Mustang Fastback, cherry red, chrome shining like liquid silver, a growling V8 engine that roared like a lion. It was his first love, his first real car, the one thing he had kept through decades of wealth. On a Saturday morning, Jonathan decided to take his Mustang for a drive. He wore a crisp white shirt, dark trousers, and expensive shoes. Clothes far too formal for a joyride, but Jonathan was always dressed like a man ready to be photographed. The sun gleamed on the hood as he steered through the city, leaving behind the glitter of skyscrapers. He wanted to see the old streets again, the neighborhoods where he had grown up, where life had been simpler, where dreams had seemed impossible but alive. He drove past cracked sidewalks, faded murals, and houses with porches where families sat and laughed. For a moment, Jonathan remembered what it was like to be young and hungry for more. But as fate would have it, the Mustang, his most prized possession, coughed, sputtered, and rolled to a stop on a quiet block in South Atlanta. Smoke curled from under the hood. Jonathan cursed softly, stepping out of the car. His polished shoes tapped against broken pavement. "Damn it," he muttered, staring at the smoking Mustang. "Not here, not now." And that's when he heard it. A small, confident voice. "Sir, need some help with that?" Jonathan turned around. Standing on the cracked sidewalk was a little black girl, no older than 12. She wore faded jeans with patches on the knees, sneakers that had seen too many days, and a t-shirt with oil stains on it. Her hair was tied in two uneven puffs, and her brown eyes gleamed with mischief and confidence. Jonathan blinked. I think it's a little complicated, kid. Don't you have school or something?" The girl tilted her head, arms crossed. "It's Saturday. And your Mustang there? Sounds like the carburetor's choking. Maybe the fuel line too." Jonathan raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" She smirked. "I fix cars with my uncle. Every day after school, every weekend. I know that sound. Pop the hood, and I'll show you." Jonathan chuckled, amused. "You're telling me a 12-year-old thinks she can fix this?" He gestured proudly at the gleaming Mustang. The girl didn't flinch. Not thinks, knows. Something in her voice, firm, unwavering, made Jonathan pause. He studied her, noticing the streaks of oil on her fingers, the confidence in her posture, the way she looked at the Mustang not as a shiny luxury car, but as a machine she could tame. "All right, little mechanic," Jonathan said with a smirk. "Show me what you got." The girl grinned. She set down her worn school bag, rolled up her sleeves, and marched toward the hood of the millionaire's most beloved car. Jonathan popped the hood, stepping back. Steam hissed out. The girl leaned in, squinting at the engine with a sharp eye. She murmured, poking carefully around. "Fuel line's clogged, carburetor's dirty. No wonder she coughed out on you." Jonathan frowned. "She?" The girl looked at him like it was obvious. Cars are always she. Didn't you know that? Jonathan chuckled, shaking his head. And what's your name, Miss Mechanic? The girl straightened proudly. Amara. Amara, Jonathan repeated. And you're telling me you can fix this car? Amara smirked, holding out her hand. Give me a wrench and I'll prove it. Jonathan laughed under his breath. This girl was something else. Against his better judgment, he opened his trunk, pulled out a small toolkit, and handed her a wrench. Amara took it with the seriousness of a surgeon. She bent over the engine, hands moving with surprising skill. Jonathan watched, amused, then slowly intrigued. She wasn't fumbling. She wasn't guessing. She knew exactly what she was doing. Within minutes, she wiped her forehead, smudging oil across her skin. Try it now. Jonathan raised an eyebrow. That's it? That's it, Amara said, stepping back with a grin. Jonathan slid into the driver's seat, turned the key, and the Mustang roared back to life, the engine purring as smoothly as if it had never stalled. Jonathan's eyes widened. He looked at Amara through the windshield, disbelief on his face. The girl just crossed her arms and smirked. Told you. Jonathan stepped out slowly, staring at her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. Amara, how did you... And then he saw it. As Amara reached down to pick up her bag, the sunlight caught something on her hand. A silver band. A ring. Jonathan froze. His smile faded. His eyes narrowed. That ring. He knew it. It wasn't possible. Where did you get that ring? He asked, his voice suddenly sharp. Amara looked at him, confused. She glanced at her hand. It was my mama's. Why? Jonathan's chest tightened. The world seemed to tilt. His knees felt weak. Because that ring